We're shooting this. The choreographer of the stunt, he'll show you, he teaches you how when this hand goes this way, you turn your head really aggressively. Looks like a slap. They put the sound in later. So now Lawrence and I are doing that. On one take, we missed. We didn't have the eye connection, and he slapped the living out of me. And my face was pounding. I mean, it was like thump. Hi, I'm Vanessa Bell Calloway. I'm here with Cocoa Butter, and today we're going to take a look at some of my most iconic roles. I have been acting for over 40 years, well over 40 years, yeah. I don't even know if I could guess how many film roles I had. I really don't even know. I don't even know how many roles I've done. Somebody once told me, they said, oh, you've got lists like 100-some roles. I said, what? Are you kidding? I mean, you don't know. You just don't know. I don't keep up with that. The moment that I think it dawned on me that I wanted to pursue acting is I was a professional dancer, and there was a point where I realized that I couldn't dance the rest of my life forever, and I also wanted more. And then I started taking acting classes on the side and going out for acting roles, and I started getting them. But I gave myself 5 years. I said, in 5 years, if I'm not doing the things I want to do, I might reevaluate whether or not I should be an actress. But maybe by that 5 years, I was cooking, I was rolling. Everybody wants to know what's your favorite. They're all your children. You love them all for different reasons. You have different memories. I'll say I loved doing The Temptation. That was a role I liked. And I loved Inkwell. But I loved Inkwell more for the set. We had so much fun on that shooting that movie. But that was a fun set and a fun movie. It's be interesting. I was like, what are they gonna pick? Hope they didn't find some of that stuff I'm trying to forget about. The world doesn't need to see everything. Periodically, it comes up on the social media or somebody sends it to me, and I look at it, I say, oh my God, I was so young. My voice was so different. My acting was okay.
Okay, I feel terrible, but I thought everything was so good between you and Jesse that you'd forgiven me.
Things are good, and that's the way they're gonna stay.
I didn't mean that they...
I know exactly what you meant.
Poor baby. I feel so sorry for her. She was so wounded. She was pitiful. She was confused. She was conflicted, but she was in love with somebody else's husband. And I always say they're gonna pay somebody to be the husband. Might as well be me. I'm gonna tell you something. Back then, a lot of people kind of looked down on soap operas. This is the early 80s. They either want to be television stars or they want to be movie stars. That's when everything was separate. Either you did movies or you did TVs or you did soap. But I will tell you that soap operas, to me, was some of the best preparation I ever had. It will teach you how to find your light, find your mark, cry on cue, and learn several pages of lines in one day. Seriously, it was some of the best preparation I had, some of the best training, and I'm really grateful for my soap opera days because when I moved into television and even film, it was easy. I mean, I was able to find my light. I knew exactly, how the cameras worked, where the cameras were. I was aware of my surroundings. I was able to learn dialogue so quick, and I still am, because of having to learn. Literally, you'd have to learn like almost a whole script a day. And if you had to work the next day while you were shooting that day, you were learning the lines for the next day while you were at work still shooting that day. It was great preparation, and I tell young kids, if they can get on a soap opera, do it. It was a great beginning for me. My acting wasn't too bad. I could see where I got a lot better. But, I was, 23 years old or something like that, 24 or something like that. She was cute.
Bark like a dog. A big dog.
Well, we all know that one. Yeah, that now, I would say that is iconic. That's the gift that keeps on giving. Several generations have come to see Coming to America. Kids that weren't even born, their parents weren't even born, and now they can still see Coming to America. And women who were little girls or women that had little girls at the time, and they said that to see a brown-skinned sister like me on the screen helped them to make their little girl feel good about being brown-skinned, And I've had a lot of people tell me that over the years, and that always makes me feel good to know that, brown-skinned beauties, we in. That dress was so tight that back in the day, they used to give a leaning board to all of the Hollywood actresses that had the really tight dresses on because you couldn't sit down. So they brought in a leaning board for me, and I sat there, and when I got tired, I had to lean. And I had several fittings for that movie because it was a dress that was made just for me. And I heard that they had put that dress in a museum, and then I heard they sold it, and I was so mad because had I known that it was going up for auction, I would have bid on that dress. I would have loved to have had that dress. People have they've done replicas for me over the years, but that dress, I would have loved to own that dress. I was always so upset when I heard that they sold it. Being in the museum, I was cool with that, you know, a fashion museum, but when they sold it, and working with Eddie was so cool. He was so sweet.
You can have him. I don't have a problem getting a man.
Well, girlfriend, here's some lotion for your ashy ankle.
All right, Miss Thing, I guess I told her.
That'll make it even
Oh, wow, that's Bebe's Kids. What comes to my mind about that movie, Robin Harris used to tell me, he said, Vanessa, we're gonna do the movie Bebe's Kids, and I want you to be Jamaica. And I would say, okay, Robin, okay, you know, because people say that, but you know, when it's time to really give you a gig, sometimes things often don't happen the way that it's planned or the way they said. So he kept saying it, Vanessa, I want you to be Jamaica. And I said, okay, Robin. Well, Robin passes away, as we know. And Reginald Hutland, the Hutland brothers, they decide that, you know, they're gonna direct the movie. So everybody's auditioning for Jamaica. Like everybody else, I go in and I put my voice down and I get the job. And I'm like, Robin, you said you wanted me to be Jamaica. I thought that was just so awesome because he told me over and over and over again that he wanted me to be Jamaica. And even in his death, somehow from heaven, he made sure I got the job and I was Jamaica. Now that was cool, seeing my animated character, because that was my first time doing animation. And you learn a lot when you do animation because you don't do it with the other people. But it was cool because it was like, wow, okay. She had a bad haircut too. I mean, like Jamaica was like, she was cute, honey. I'll take that little body now and that haircut.
Come on, piece of cake. Piece of cake, yeah. Oh, so you done lost it.
Hey, leave her alone.
Sonny, come on.
We're shooting this, and they wanted to put the double in for the slap, and then I pop up. So I told the director, I told Brian Gibbs, I said, you know what, this is just not gonna be right because I need to be in the moment. And when I get up, then I could like tell him off, and I need to have that energy, that adrenaline. So they said, okay, the choreographer of the stunt, he'll show you, he teaches you how, when this hand goes this way, you turn your head really aggressively, looks like a slap, they put the sound in later. So now Lawrence and I are doing that. On one take, we missed. We didn't have the eye connection, and he slapped the living out of me. And my face was pounding. I mean, it was like, one side of my brain was like, ow! The other side was, oh, keep going, Vanessa, this gonna be good, this gonna be good. I know this sounds sick. So I kept going, I didn't stop. But you could see everybody was like this, because everybody knew I had gotten slapped for real. And because we were really into it, I mean, he slapped me, right? So I slapped and I roll and I get up and baby, I let him have it. And that's the take they used. And I don't blame them, because if I was a director producer, that's the one I would have used because I didn't stop. And of course, when they cut, everybody ran to me with ice packs and everything to make sure I was okay. But I mean, he slapped the poop out of me. If you read her book and you know her true story, she was abused by Ike a lot. Women, that get abused and that stay in abusive relationships, they need friends like Jackie to say, hey, snap out of it, let's go. You're gonna regret this. You need to try to get out of here and save yourself. So it was very easy for me to relate to that because anytime you see somebody being abused, you gotta step up and say something. And, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and I saw a lot of that type of behavior and a lot of women that were desperate with kids and the men weren't right and, just all that craziness. So it didn't take much to be able to tap into that and really feel that for real, that energy for real, wanting to deliver something that had power. Yeah. Like D'Angelo, Kevin? A little music to set the mood.
It's great you want to set the mood, Mama. It's just, Kevin and I want to keep this straightforward, more like a procedure.
As opposed to what?
A date.
Excuse me? How about some whore comes over in a ragged t-shirt, has relations with your boyfriend, and leaves? If we gonna do this, we might as well get some ambiance up in here. Otherwise, get some trashy thing. Won't mind if you bend over the kitchen table.
Oh my God, Shameless. Shameless is shameful. That series was something else, but it was a lot of fun. And I loved working with Shadola and Howie. I loved working with them. Yeah, what didn't scare me, first of all, I always tell my children, and you have to keep, follow your own advice. Whatever scares you, run towards it, not away from it. And it was very risque. And I have this rule. Once I let my husband review the scenes or the part, if he's okay with it, I don't care about anybody else's opinion, which was kind of scandalous because she has sex with her daughter's boyfriend trying to get pregnant so she could have a baby for her daughter, which really ends up being her daughter's brother and her boyfriend's child. Y'all follow me? It's kind of like she grandma girlfriend because I have a baby with her boyfriend, but it's my daughter's brother. I identify most with Carol as being a mother because I have 2 grown daughters, and so she's still growing up while she's raising her daughter. She's still raising herself even in these scenes.
I am not worried about that boy. I don't do the streets. We've been in trouble since we were kids.
Yeah, well, that boy is a grown-ass man now.
A grown man that would choke you to death?
Yeah, well, it just depends on how he does it.
A lot of information is happening here that I don't need to know.
Oh, yeah, that was sweet. Oh, that little Kiki, she is something else. That's a little powerhouse there. I'm excited to see all the things she's still going to do. She's something else. She's a boss. She's definitely a boss. I was telling everybody before the movie came out, after I saw it, that Sis and Kiki was so good together, and SZA really did a good job, I thought. And they were natural. They had such a great chemistry. And I knew it was going to be a hit. And boy, did we bust the box office open with that movie last year. The part wasn't super huge, but it contributed to the story. So, I always know why I'm there. And as long as you know why you're there and what you're doing and you feel good about your contribution, then you've accomplished, what you're trying to do. I hope so. I know they're writing part 2. They ended up moving back into my apartment because their apartment got blown up. So, it'd be nice. We'll see.
What the f*** you looking at, Paulette? You just so nasty. Now, what's nasty is your mac and cheese. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, my
I know
God.
you made it.
I love being a part of the Vince Staples Show, and I'm so excited for season 2. And I'm so proud of Vince, that young man. Working with him, when I tell you, he knows what he's doing. He knows the importance of having his name on a show. He doesn't take it lightly. He's very serious. He's involved in every little thing, and I respect him a great deal for all of that. And I can't wait to see all the things he's going to accomplish as he grows. I love those unconventional mother roles. They cuss at their kids, and the relationship between them and their children are like real. Like the kids can be real with the mother as well. When I got the material, I too didn't know how funny the show was going to be. And for him to want me to be his mother, I was really, really honored. And she was written so real and so raw, and the way she talked to him, I was like, oh, I got this. I know these people. These people are in my family. She reminds me of my grandmother a little bit of my mother, because they was like real no nonsense. I know this woman. I've seen her in like Target with her kids. And cussing, I like cussing. Cussing's fun. Anita got a nasty mouth. I think that I grew between the 2 seasons because I knew the character better this season. Last season, I only did a couple episodes, I think. But this season I did more, and my part is very big. It's bigger, way bigger than it was last season. Well, Cocoa Butter, this has been so much fun talking about my iconic roles over the years. I'm so happy that you invited me. But watch Netflix, the 2nd season of the Vince Staples Show. Watch it, like it, thumbs up, and let it just run. Watch it. Don't turn it off. Keep it going. That's how we'll get a season 3.